Anyway, it is, what time is it? It's 7:04. Let's start this meeting. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think we're going to start off with Lee Morton, who has our inspiration for us.
After being in the hospital fixing the shoulder and everything, I think if you look around, someone is always in worse trouble than you are.
Lee, you sound like Stephen Hawking.
That comes through. I might be. Who knows? I'm in the hole, it sounds like.
Well,
that I don't know what to do about.
We got your message, and that's a good some good advice, because I think we all get feeling a little low these days, and then we look around and say, wow, how bad can it be? We live in Healdsburg and we're healthy, right?
Right.
So Colleen, would you please introduce our guests? And we have a few of them today.
I see Dave Cans, who is from Recreation and Parks Department, and I also see Randy Johnson. Is that from Getaway Today?
Getaway Adventures.
Getaway Adventures. I was close.
You're close.
Hi,
You're
Randy.
Close.
And then the phone number is Will?
What?
There's one phone number listed, and I don't know who that is. I think it's Will. But other than that, I think that's it. Jackie's not on yet that I can see, so. And neither is Mark Themig. Is Mark Themig joining us?
Yeah, he's supposed to be. I just pinged him right now. I know sometimes he has a little bit of a spotty connection out there at his house in the valley.
Okay, well, welcome to those of you whose names I've mentioned, Randy and Dave. I think you are only two guests because Tom is no longer a guest. Tom's one of the family.
Thank you.
Attaboy. Attababe, Tom. Attababe. Okay, go ahead, Nancy. It's back to you.
Okay, well, we have a little bit of a presentation this morning from Dave and Mark from the city of Healdsburg. Dave, are you prepared to start without Mark? Because he said you guys might tag team because of his difficult connection out in the Alexander Valley.
Yeah, so he just sent me a message. He is hopping on right now, and he has the slides to share. So if we've got 30 seconds to hold tight and see if he gets on, otherwise I will jump in without visuals and I can walk us through it.
Yeah, we have a few minutes here. Before we start that, I wanted to introduce Dave Jans, who's the recreation manager for the city of Healdsburg, and Mark Themig, who is the community services director for the city of Healdsburg. And they are behind a program called Healdsburg Fund the Future, which they're going to speak to us about for a few minutes this morning. It's in collaboration with the Healdsburg Unified School District and Corazon, and it's quite timely considering the state of affairs here in our country and the world relative to getting our kids back to school. So
thank you, Nancy, for the introduction. What I can do is I can go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about the program that we offered this summer and are rolling into the fall here. And then Mark will hop on here shortly and he can talk about that the Fund the Future piece. I think that would be a nice segue if that works for her. And I'll set the table and he can bring in the information here shortly.
Sounds good.
So as Nancy mentioned, my name's Dave. I'm with the Community Services Department. And one thing that our team has been working on throughout the summer is we offered a program called Camp HBG. Now, Camp HBG is a new offering to summer in its own right. That is the name of our traditional summer camp. But as you can imagine, this summer things were much different. We closely monitored the health and safety protocol that was being put out by the county health officer, as well as the Centers for Disease Control, as well as talking to our colleagues all throughout the state. And so summer camps and childcare do fall under the umbrella of a safe operational program as long as you're following very specific protocol. So what we were able to do this summer was launch Camp HBG in a very different light. We had our campers split into small cohorts, so groups of 12 or less. They wore masks. They took part in lots of hand hygiene. There was no longer these big group games, no longer group eating opportunities. Most of the activities took place outside. We were able to partner with Encore Events to bring in large festival tents, so the kids spent most of the day outdoors. So that's what we did this summer. It was, I think, very successful. We've gotten a lot of testimonial from parents that it allowed them to return to work. It allowed the kids to have a social interaction and, have some sense of normalcy during this crazy time. So over the summer, we had 93 participants in the program. And thanks to the very generous donation of members of the community, specifically Karsten and Kathy Block, we were able to offer that program at a sliding scale. So it allowed families to come in at a lower rate than they normally would. And some data that we're getting back quickly at the end of the summer is that up to 40 of those participants in the summer had never been able to take part in a summer camp program before. So that was just tremendous to hear. It was giving access to families that hadn't been able to be in that environment before. So how that segues into what we're looking at this fall is we've been in communication with the Healdsburg Unified School District, as well as our partners at Core Zone Healdsburg over the last several months on what the fall is going to look like. And it's been back and forth on whether there's going to be in-person learning, a hybrid model. We learned about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks or so, that they're going to be in a full virtual model. So the school will start in distance learning. And what we are looking to do is to, in some sense, replicate our program of Camp HB over the summer and allow students to come to the community center in small groups where they can take part in distance learning. That will open the door for parents to return to work and also give these children opportunity to safely socialize with one another and interact with one another, as we know that development is so important at this age. So we're getting ready to launch that program next Wednesday. We're not quite sure what the demand is, but we're gearing up for up to 100 or so students that would be coming in to learn in these small camp pods. And what we are doing right now, as Nancy mentioned, is this Fund the Future program, is we are looking to raise $120,000 this week. And what that will do will allow us to meet that demand of bringing in that many students to meet the need of the small staff ratios, but most importantly, offer that program at that sliding fee scale that allows it and makes it accessible for so many families within our community. So I think that kind of gives the framework of what we're looking to offer, what we did offer over the summer and what we're looking to offer into the fall. And it looks like Mark was able to join us. And if he's on, I can turn it over to him to talk a bit about the Fund the Future piece. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I have a little bit of internet challenge out here in the valley. Can you hear me, Dave? Thumbs up. All right. I'm going to try to share my screen, and I have a few photos that I would like to do that. Oh, could the host make me a presenter by any chance?
Lance?
Could you actually make Mark a co-host?
Lance's mute is on.
Oh, you're both now presenters.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go, hang on here. Can you allow me to share a screen?
You should be able to, you're co-host.
Let's see. Oh, try the static picture of me.
While they're getting that ready, I should let you all know that you met Mark on the 4th of July. He was incognito with his duck costume on. So thank you for that, Mark.
You're very welcome. So as Dave probably mentioned, one of the challenges we, of course, are having to overcome is making sure we have all the precautions in place and we're meeting the requirements for the child care program. Through the summer with the 93 participants, we think we got a fairly good handle on how to do that safely. Our staff certainly evolved throughout the summer. We made changes. We started with no masks, and then we ended up implementing masks as the health orders changed during the summertime. So we really worked to make sure it was as safe as possible. And this really gives us a good foundation for what the fall could look like or would look like. It will be different, and we know that because there will be a much more structured school day during the fall. So our fundraising effort that we kicked off on over the weekend, as Dave mentioned, involves raising $120,000 to support the program. There's other revenue sources that are coming in. The school district is committing a portion of the after-school education and safety grant. The city's covering the overhead of the program, and we have funding that carried over from the summertime that will serve as seed money as well. We are looking for your support financially in really any way that you can. We've developed essentially 3 kind of categories, but folks can give at any amount. The first is $2,000. That would fund a single participant throughout the 4 months. And that's really geared towards, a family or an individual in town who would like to make a smaller contribution or spread it out over several weeks. $20,000 would fund an entire classroom, and $120,000 will fund the overall program. We learned yesterday that we received a very, very generous contribution from a local community member, Carson and Kathy Block. They pledged $50,000 to be used as a match. So every dollar that we raise up to $50,000 will be matched by the Carson and Kathy Block family. So that is our presentation, and we can answer any questions that you might have.
Anyone have any questions? I did send your initial letter to the club yesterday, along with the donation form and the informational form. So if you all wouldn't mind looking at that, and if you send $5, 10 will appear. Dan?
So math question. Are there 6 classes that are happening here total, or is there more than that?
There'll be more than that. There'll be, it depends on the number of kids and what the age groups they're in.
Because I guess the question is you said 20 grand would get you a class and 120 would fund everything. So 6 times 20 is 120.
No, actually, the maximum that there can be in any classroom are 12 kids. So it's 10 classrooms. Yeah, 10 classrooms.
All right. So 10 is your cap then.
10 is our cap, but again, we don't know what we're still working through what the need is. And so we may have 120 families who identify a need, or we may have 80 families, and that's the piece that we're still working on right now.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, a couple questions, couple more, and then we've got to move on with the rest of the meeting. Doug, you had your hand up?
Yeah, what hours of the day is the program operative?
Dave, I know we changed it yesterday based on the school district. It's 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Is that right?
Wow.
School starts at 8 a.m., so we'll have the kids start coming in at 7:30.
Great. And Jay?
Since our fundraising is pretty slim these days because we can't get out and do normal fundraising, the club is rich with other kinds of resources. If you could come up with ideas, for example, I'm a play systems designer, and I've got a lot of connections in that realm. But we've got other members who could contribute other things. If you could come up with a list of things that were not financial, I'm sure our club could be more robust in its support.
That would be great, Jay. We really appreciate that. We know that there's a huge level of expertise of folks in Healdsburg who have done amazing things. And so we're definitely looking for that. Yesterday, we had an artist in who helped us do an art project. So we're definitely open for any kind of support that you can give.
Thank you. And Mark, one other question on our chat from Leanna. She's just wondering what the regular school district is doing school-wise. Are they, you know, do you know if they're going to be holding classes or what?
So they made the decision to do distance learning to start with, and they'll be monitoring it as they go. And so this program is a distance learning care program. So we're supplementing the distance learning and the child care component that a parent who would typically be home would provide.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, we hope this program meets the need or you meet your goal by the end of this week. And I'm sure some of us will reach into our pockets and do what we can to help you. Thank you for showing up so early. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And just one thing you can give online on CoreZone's website, they are our nonprofit partner on this. Or there's also a form on the city's website that you can download. And I think I sent those to you.
Yeah, and I forwarded those to the membership yesterday. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome.
Have a great day.
Hi, Dave.
Okay, so we have some committee reports coming up. So Diane, did you have some things you wanted to talk about with membership? Your mute is on.
There we go. The membership committee is going to be hosting next week's meeting. And as we talked last week, August is membership month. So it's just kind of good to bring it front of mind so that we can all be thinking about who in our community we think would be a good fit for our club here. And then what we'd like to do, what we've been doing starting last week, and we'll carry through the rest of the month and perhaps the year if we have time to do this, is asking folks, how did you come to Rotary? So let's see. Ed Walter, do you want to unmute yourself and give us just a minute or two about how you came to Rotary? Is Fred still here?
Hi. Nothing like extemporaneous speaking.
I know.
How did I
Nancy
come to
tells me
Rotary?
that's the Rotary way.
Ambush.
When I moved to Healdsburg, the very first event that I went to was a Boys and Girls Club dinner. And I sat at a table with Goose and Karen and her husband Doug and a couple of other people. And I wound up being top bidder on a dinner for 10 at Trefethen. Trefethen? No, it was another winery. Point is, we got home, we're excited, and then I sat down on the bed and I thought to myself, you know, I don't know 10 people in Healdsburg. So I don't know how I'm going to pay for this, or well, I knew how to pay for it. I didn't know how I would complete it. So the next weekend, we're at a barbecue with Goose at his place. And I got to talking about that, joking about it. And he said, well, why don't you come with me to Rotary next? I think they were meeting on Mondays at that time at the Masonic Lodge. And one thing led to another, and I was a Rotarian. At the time, I set the record for moving from red badge to blue. I did it in 6 weeks. Which was pretty good. I was able to get everything in time. But I was amazed at the people that I met. One of the first people I met was Andy Escobar. Max Dunn was president of the club when I joined. Man, it seemed like everything I wanted in a community was in Rotary. Access to speakers who could tell me what's going on in the community that I would never have gotten just by reading the newspaper, as thorough as it was at the time. And so I became an active member. There you go. That's it. That's my 5 seconds of fame.
And Goose, I should mention, is Paul Hammond, right?
Paul Hammond, that's accurate. Yes.
Our beloved Paul Hammond.
President Nancy?
Hello?
Yeah, it's Andy.
Andy?
I just want to remind everybody that early on in the life of our club, Fred floated one of the best ideas I think I ever heard. Fred was pushing to make us a mid-morning club.
10 o'clock.
Unfortunately, it didn't take hold.
That's because I'm not a morning person.
Well, Diane, can we move on and do some more of these next week? You'll have the whole platform, so we because I know Bert Terreri, our one of our socialites, has some information he wants to share with us.
Good morning, fellow jesters. So you are going to be getting an email. I'm actually, oh no, I'm clearly connected. My computer just told me I have no internet at this time, and I thought, what? But it must have been an old message. So you're going to be getting an email making the assignments for the social groups. There's going to be anywhere from 4 or 5 or 6 members listed there. I want you all to feel free to gather electronically, do something through Zoom, meet in person if you've got a space large enough to do it safely. The email somewhat explains that, but you know, I don't want anybody to feel any pressure given what we're dealing with COVID to do something unsafe. That's not the idea. The idea is so that we connect with members that we may not otherwise connect with and build the friendships within the club, either, you know, strengthening a friendship that always exists or making new ones. So the emails, I'm starting to send them while I'm in the meeting this morning. So people are going to start getting emails about that. If anybody has any brilliant ideas for how we should be gathering or could be gathering that wouldn't be dangerous, I'd love to hear them, and I'd love if somebody wants to share some of that.
Part of the reason of our theme this morning, taking our pulse. I also have a shot, if anybody is needing a shot, is to just make sure just understand how everybody feels about getting together, whether it's virtually or in small groups. So we really don't want to push this on anyone if you're uncomfortable meeting in person. So please speak up. Any comments? I guess everybody will work out their own little groups. Hubbard?
That's what it sounds like. I'm not hearing any, at least I'm not hearing any strong objections. So let's just see how it works. And I'm expecting that around October 1st, we'll make new assignments and kind of shuffle the groups around. I've got a spreadsheet that has them assigned by numbers and colors, but they were randomly applied. So don't read anything into it when you get it. All right. Thank you.
I think I mentioned early on in my my tenure that based on all my interviews over the last year, people really wanted to get back to doing socials. So this is why we encouraged this, but then COVID hit, so things have changed a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how we come up with getting together. So thank you, Bert, and also Fred for your help being our social guys. So announcements. Andy, I know you had an announcement, or you wanted to talk about the Drew Esquivel?
Yes, thank you, President Nancy. Just wanted to give everybody an update. Hopefully everybody got the email that I sent out with the link to get registered, and also sponsor information is also available through that link. So I'd like to encourage everybody to please share that. Share it with your friends, family, neighbors, your kids, your parents, share it with everybody. And also, if you're not a golfer and you want to participate and you're not sure, one of the things that we're doing is we're going to have a random raffle during the tournament, and we're going to give away gift certificates to a local restaurant and a bottle of wine. So that might be a way for you to participate. If you'd like to support a local restaurant, buy a gift certificate, get it to Dan Erickson. and we'll use that during the tournament. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Just one more note about postcards. If you can grab a postcard and send one to Marta thanking her for her $100, please do that. She got my postcard and she was thrilled. So I was shocked at how fast it got to Germany. And if you need her address again, let me know. Larry, did you have a comment?
Yes, could you send out the Marta's mailing address?
Yes.
That may have been done, but I can't find it.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll send it again.
Thank you.
Last week, Will mentioned that if anyone is so inclined to send a donation to the Humane Society in honor of Karen Dutton, I just wanted to remind you about that. That would be wonderful, and very generous family, the Duttons. So I'm sure Karen's loss will be deeply felt in this community. Dan Erickson, did you want to mention something about some letters you received?
Thank you, President Nancy and fellow Rotarians. Yes, I'm the secretary, so I get the P.O. Box mail, and we've gotten some responses from some of the folks that we have supported either financially or emotionally. George got some flowers from us, and he sent us a very nice card, and he hopes to get back to join us soon. He also made a nice donation to the Drew Esquivel scholarship and the Jack Valeriga scholarships. So that in Karen's name. So that was another great act of George's. Also have a card here from Connor Browning, who is a scholarship recipient and who's going to San Luis Obispo. So anyway, he really appreciated the support that the club gave him and the help that it will give him in attending college this year.
Thank you, Dan. I wanted to mention one thing, the Foss Creek cleanup, which is usually held in September. The city is still working on an idea for that, and we may be, they may be offering garbage bags that small groups can gather and just go out and collect, help clean up the creek. So I will keep you informed on that, because I think I always have enjoyed going out and cleaning up the creek with my fellow Rotarians. It's fun, I think. I also sent out the club manual. I'm not going to go through that, but I expect you to all have committed it to memory by next week, and we will we'll have a quiz. But there is a club calendar, and that calendar was developed pre-COVID, which shows like a social a month and having meetings at alternate locations. I mean, I had big plans, but anyway, we'll try to get there. So if you could look through that, it's a work in progress. The committees have helped me create that, so I really thank everyone for their contributions. So with that in mind, Pauline.
Yes, Nancy.
Are you able to recognize some of our members?
I am indeed.
Thank you.
Lord, is he stopped already? Okay. So this week we have a couple of we have a mixed bag of tricks here. So Leanna has a birthday coming up on August the 16th. Is that correct, Leanna? Happy almost birthday. How would you like to recognize your special day, Leanna? You could either give a baked or a wined beverage to our cart that we have that's being held by Ed for future auction, or you can make a lovely monetary donation.
I can donate 50.
Yeah,
Nice, Leanna. Thanks.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Andy Esquivel. I believe you had an anniversary on August the 10th.
That is correct.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure the joy you feel for being married to your beloved soulmate for this many years is worthy of a sizable contribution to something.
I think it's, what's the term? Worthless? No, not worthless. Priceless. Priceless.
That's it.
That's what I meant to
priceless.
say.
That's good.
Priceless, yes. Yes, it has been a wonderful experience. So yeah, $100 to the Jack Valerga Scholarship.
Very nice.
Wow.
Thank you, sir. And then last we have Dan Erickson's wife. She has a birthday, and her birthday is today. So I don't know if she's near you. I would offer for all of us to sing to her, but that would turn into a Lee Morton show. I'm going to call it a Lee Morton show now since she was so challenging this morning. Anywho's.
So, quick aside, I don't know that music works on Zoom meetings, certainly not singing, but in any event, yes, today is my bride's birthday. And so she's off doing her morning walk. And then later we're going to have a hike out at the coast. And tonight we're going to go have a salmon dinner at our son's house. So that is our joys for today. So I actually will send a check off to Polio Plus. I have it here already laid out. And so that will be going into Rotary International in honor of her special birthday today.
Thank you so much. That's lovely. I got a couple of other things, Nance. Does anybody know what the golfer Colin Morikawa and Doug Pyle have in common? Yes, Andy.
Cal Berkeley.
Yeah, they do. I thought you were saying their golf score, but okay, yes.
What do I win?
You win my undivine love and devotion. Thank you, Eddie. Okay. Also, I don't know if you're aware, but this is National Golf Month. So all of you golfers out there, I think that the way we celebrate Golf Month is we buy mulligans. We buy $10 mulligans for the Drew Escobar Golf Tournament, which is coming up. So if you would like to participate in purchasing a $10 mulligan, please let Terry, our fabulous treasurer, know. Send him a little note, send him a little check, show the love. Everybody who golfs knows mulligans are our favorite best friend. A mulligan it's a way of cheating, Leanna, in golfing, even though people don't admit that it's a way of cheating, but it assists you. Am I right, gentlemen? It assists you with your score and your ability to, yeah. Mulligan it's just a little way of taking an eraser on your golf course. So
if you club a shot, you get to take it. It's a do-over, a legal do-over.
Is it a legal do-over? Eddie Hughes. Yes, that's what it is. $10. And also it's National Brownie Month. So those of you bakers out there who want to make some scrumptious brownies, I think we should add those to Ed's farm cart. So go ahead and bake away. Maybe we'll have a competition of the best brownies. And of course, Nancy is more than happy to be a judge on that. She said she's a giver. She's willing to step up and be the judge for the brownie competition. So any of you bakers out there, you know where to send your brownies.
We just have to be sure what kind of brownies.
Well, there's no description on what you can put as a filler in your brownie. I mean, chocolate chips, let your imagination run wild on that one. Okay, I think we have done all of our,
No.
Oh my God, Doug, I'm sorry. Yes,
Yes,
Doug.
this last weekend, my sister came up from Southern California. One of her purposes of coming up is to buy Gravenstein apples to make a year's worth of apple pies. She goes back to Southern California. Ed was so kind to bring a box of Gravensteins and with some Golden Delicious in. And I told her where they came from and that he didn't want any money for them. So she made, at my suggestion, a $30 donation to his Paul Harris.
Yay.
So that will be coming to the club. Thank you, Ed.
That's lovely. Ed, you're such a giver, and you've got apples behind you almost just to let people know you are the giver of the apples. Okay, I only have one announcement, Nancy, and that is to invite all of you to Reach for Home's Dinner in the Vineyard event. It's not going to be live as far as person to person live, but it will be an online event and it's free. Yay! So that's August 22nd at 7, and I can send that link to Nancy so y'all can watch it. It's probably going to be about a half an hour to 40-minute program. And some of our all-stars are going to be speaking, and one of the all-stars is Jackie, who's going to be talking to you guys today. So I'm really, really proud of our team. I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish in spite of the COVID virus. So I hope you all can join us, and thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. You know, the month of August just has so many things to celebrate, and there are a ton of medical celebrations. Like one of them is National Hair Loss Awareness Month. I mean, who knew, right? And with all the medical days of celebration in August, I wanted to mention one of Fred's comments to me recently, such that cigar smoke is known to be a help prevent COVID. So if you are inclined to go hang out with guys who smoke cigars, or even women, I've been known to smoke a few, you will be prevented from getting COVID. Anyway, with that in mind, and I'm a doctor today, so everything I say is believable. Edward McCutcheon, will you please introduce our guest speaker today? Speaking of health.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Our speaker for today is Jacklyn Ramirez. She works for Reach for Home Street Medicine, which provides nursing and case management to individuals currently experiencing homelessness in northern Sonoma County. She has been in the nursing field since 1998, starting in the Central Valley, the Clovis and Fresno area, went up to Mendocino County, and now is in this area. She's now studying to get a bachelor's degree in healthcare management from San Joaquin Valley College. And she's going to be talking to us about something that affects a lot of silent people in our community. It's your turn, Jackie.
Am I unmuted? I think I am.
You are.
Yes,
Are you?
Ooh, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to first say thank you to the clubs for donating the money for me to get the supplies to do what I do. And also to the Healthcare Foundation for the grant. That's also allowing me to do my job, which to me is not just a job, it's something I actually love doing. So I'm one of the fortunate people that get to do what I love, and so I'll just talk a little bit about where we're at. So the program launched back in September of 2019, and since its launch, our goal was to at least serve 70 clients on the street, and we've exceeded that goal. We're at 274 clients. Now that's 274 individuals. That's not counting how many encounters. So we see these guys pretty frequently on a weekly basis. And COVID didn't slow our team down. We just had to adjust the way we do things. We have to be more careful, obviously, wear masks and gloves and wipe down our vehicle. And when we're approaching camps, we don't go inside the camp. We meet them outside and maintain our 6-foot distancing, which is, you know, as you can imagine, is tough. But we are still out there. We're still doing the work. People appreciate the work that we're doing. And it's not just medical care that we provide, but we also get them access to other services like Medi-Cal, getting them into shelters, getting them connected to CalFresh so that they can get food stamps. We have a behavioral health person that comes out and meets with our guys either in the street or in the van or on the phone now with the whole COVID thing. She's doing some telehealth over the phone with our individuals. And we're getting them connected to doctors. We're getting them connected to primary care, which most of these guys, they haven't been seen by a doctor in many, many years. So what seems to us like a simple thing, oh, okay, you call and make them an appointment, but just to get their trust to even do that, and then to accompany to the appointments is also another big area that I think has helped these guys, because you know, a lot of them, they don't have a voice, or they have a voice and they feel like they haven't been heard in so long, that when we go with them to their doctor's appointment, we advocate for them for their health and for the things that they've been putting off for many years. So overall, I think because of our efforts, we've been able to keep our individuals safe. We haven't had anyone display any signs or symptoms of COVID. And none of our guys have tested positive, the ones that have gone into the hospital to test. So that's something to be proud of. And I think it's because of our early efforts. As soon as we found out that this was here, the COVID was here, we acted really quickly. We got information out to everybody. We provided face masks to everyone, hand sanitizer to everyone, gloves to everyone. We coordinated our efforts with other partner agencies, and we got some porta potties out in certain locations that they didn't have access to the bathroom, hand washing stations. We coordinated with the food pantry so that the people that were sheltering in place were able to access food, and we were delivering that food to them so that they wouldn't have to be going in to town to get food, which also I think helped them to feel safer, and the community at large feel safer, not having individuals coming in to get food if they didn't absolutely have to. And now we're just, you know, we've adjusted our efforts, and now I think it's just a matter of maintaining safety and just continuing to do the checks that we have been doing, and continue to build those relationships with the people on the street. And I think because of the money that we got, because of our efforts, I think we've made a difference, and I feel proud of our team. I feel proud of the work that we're doing. And I'm just honored to be able to continue to serve as long as I can with this group and with the clients that I'm serving out on the street. So I want to say thank you guys from my heart, that I don't think I could have done this without you guys. So thank you so much.
Hey, Jackie, can you tell them what your what we're doing for the dinner in the vineyard, what we're raising funds for, so that they
Oh
have.
yeah, I'm sorry. So our next big endeavor is our van. I don't know if any of you guys have gotten to see our van, but it's seen better days. It was a van that was donated to us, I don't know how long ago, but it's fallen apart, and we need a new van. And we need a van that is more suitable to do medical visits in, so that when I can bring them in, I can do a head to toe assessment in a bed versus on the ground or standing on the street. So that, and then when the doctors come out, I can have the doctor go in the van and do their visits more privately. And so that van, we got some funds for, but we need $50,000 more towards that medical van. And that will just take our services up a notch. It'll just make things a little bit more sanitary, and I don't know, just more clean and more sanitary, and more like a legitimate visit, not, you know, I'm seeing you in your camp or on the street. So to get that money for the van is going to make a huge difference for us, the team, and for the community we're serving.
Yeah, and just so you all know, Jackie, you know, when this first started in March, none of us really knew what was going on. I mean, as far as we knew, you could get it by just touching something. So you can imagine how it was in that environment. And she was going out there daily. We were all going out there, as a matter of fact, but she was going out, checking on people's health and making sure that they were good. I mean, I know that's part of her job, but at the same time, the fact that she was willing to risk that and continues to this day, and she's very adamant about how strict we are about complying with the safety, and she's just been such a bright star. We didn't realize we would be able to get someone of her caliber on the team, and our hope is she will continue to build that program and add more practitioners. She's also working with another group in Santa Rosa that we just got connected to do medically assisted treatments with her, which I think will be exceptional, and that's to help people with addictions. And she's also working on the trauma model that we've been studying to try and get health practitioners and mental health practitioners who understand trauma and how to treat trauma. So she really has, she won't tell you this, but I'm telling you this, she's been a godsend to our team, and we are really grateful to you guys for this. Jackie, is there anything else? Did you want to talk about some of the stats that you had from your healthcare foundation of how many people you've served? You're muted, Jackie. Jackie? Well, I'll say on her behalf, she's not, I can see that she's muted. So we've served over 200 individuals in this past, it'll be a year now in August that we've had the street medicine team up and launched. So it's no small feat that she's seen that many people and consistently seeing that many people. And they know her now, and she has a really good relationship with them. In fact, they'll contact me to get a hold of her, or Rick to get a hold of her. So that's no small feat. So Jackie, are you still there? Okay.
Colleen, can I ask you a question? Maybe. Sure. So what is the range, what's the range of territory that Jackie and her team help with? You know, is it here in Healdsburg specifically, or how far out do they go?
They go anywhere from Windsor all the way up north through Cloverdale, and then in the county areas in between there. So their trips daily are Windsor, Healdsburg, and Cloverdale, and then Geyserville is, you know, as they are moving through those areas. So yeah, every day is an adventure. I will tell you that, because I went out for the first month of when they were doing the COVID food distribution, and they're so grateful though, honestly, the amount of people that say thank you to us and how gracious they are to have someone help them, and how willing they are to work. When you start building that relationship, it's really a beautiful thing. And it would change your mind about the people that are out there in a minute if you just had time to spend. So that's why we're very fiercely protective of them, because we know what they are like. And it really breaks my heart when people say such cruel things about the homeless population when they've never met them, they don't have a relationship with them. And if they did, they'd have a much better understanding of the people that they're being cruel to. And I don't think they would talk that way, but it's easy to be brave when you're on Facebook and other social media platforms to say hurtful things. And I just can tell you firsthand, these people are really, really broken down and feeling really, really bad about themselves, which can account for why they have so many health issues. And I think that this has been such a fantastic program, and Jacklyn has she's taken it to a whole nother level, and we're just grateful for her.
When the clients get medical treatment, are you seeing them take the advice and try to help improve their health?
She's still not, there you are.
I'm sorry, I lost connection there for a minute, so I had to.
Like, where'd Jackie go?
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my computer. My battery is running low. So yeah, once we get them to the doctor, you know, there is some resistance, obviously, because they're, you know, a lot of them haven't been to the doctor in so long. But for the most part, with some coaching from myself, and, you know, sometimes it takes more than one visit to get them on track to do what the doctor's asking them to do. And a lot of it's just, you know, they're afraid. So a lot of times I'll go with them, the doctor will order labs. I'll go with them to the lab. I'll hold their hand while they're getting their blood work done because they're afraid of needles. I mean, they're people just like us. It's just the challenge is they don't have the luxury of going home and having running water and, taking a shower every day and sleeping in a bed. And so, just keeping that in mind, when the doctor does tell them, okay, we need you to do X, Y, and Z, we also have to think of those barriers that are there that are preventing them from doing X, Y, and Z. And then for me, my job is to figure out to get through those barriers. And a lot of it's simple stuff like what we take for granted. Oh, I just get in my car and I drive over to San Francisco and I go see the specialist that the doctor referred me to. Well, these guys, some of them don't have vehicles. So it's finding that way to get them to San Francisco, which, making arrangements with Partnership Health Plan to take them there, or figuring out the bus route, figuring out how much money they need to get there. It's just things that we take for granted, finding those obstacles and overcoming them. And so that's pretty much my job with these guys, is to figure out those obstacles, those barriers, and find a way around them and not take no for an answer, because no is not an answer I can take sometimes. So I just have to figure it, just figuring it out and figuring it out with them.
You mentioned guys, are there women and children?
Oh yeah, there's women, but predominantly what I see in in the territory I cover is predominantly white middle-aged men. We do have no children on the street, thank goodness, but we do have women out there, and as you can imagine, that's another hurdle that I have to get these women in to get checked out for their annuals, and get them their pap smears, their mammograms done, just normal stuff that us women need to take care of on an annual basis. So covering that too. So, but it's predominantly male, and it's predominantly white and middle-aged males.
She's also done prenatal care. And
oh yeah,
we had successful. Tell them about the success story that you had with that one.
Oh, yeah. So when we were deployed out to the Joe Rodota Trail when that was going on, and we were out there. I don't know. It seemed like just a few days, but it wasn't a few days. I think we were out there for a few months. I lose track of time, and I got to meet this young lady who found out she was pregnant, and we got her connected to an OB. And she got on her prenatal vitamins, and then Joe Rodota Trail got, they got dispersed to other locations. So I lost track of this young lady. And then months went by, and I got a call from Colleen, actually. And she was like, hey, I found this young couple over here in Windsor by Safeway. I want you to go check them out. So we went and checked them out. We couldn't find them there, but we ended up running into them under a overpass in Windsor, and it was the same young lady, and she recognized me, and I recognized her right off the bat, and she decided she wanted to follow through with her pregnancy, but she was like, I can't have this baby out here. And I'm like, yeah, no, you can't have this baby out here. So we got her reconnected to her mom, and we were able to raise funds to get her back home, and she got home. I got to talk to her and her mom, and she had a little boy, and healthy and happy, and she's staying with her mom and her little boy back home. So that was pretty a win. It was a win, and those kind of stories don't happen every day. So we had to we have to celebrate those small successes, and so she's one of our small success stories.
And I just can't tell you guys, on a daily basis, my team is seeing so much trauma, and the fact that they just keep going in spite of that, because they know that these people deserve our care and attention. I mean, it's emotionally exhausting to do this job, and you can imagine being a nurse in a normal setting, but when you have to go out there every day And I know people say it's a choice that these people are making, so why should I feel bad for them that they have to go in and see doctors and struggle? But the trauma that these kids experienced and never were able to have normal brain development from, it's just not fair. They're continuing to be abused children, but they're being abused by adults now. And it's not right. And so I'm really grateful also to Doug Pyle. Doug, you were one of the early believers and helpers with trying to get this launched, and Jerry Lazareski, who's a local physician. So, but Jackie's done an exceptional job and will continue to do so. And I'm just really grateful that she's part of the team and is leading the charge, because she really is dedicated to the health and well-being of everybody in the community, not just a select few. So.
Thank you. Our district grants lasted through June 30th of 2020. So how is this program being funded going forward?
So we got the second half of the donation that we had from the Healthcare Foundation, which will take us through the end of 2020. And also we've had private foundations that have stepped up and given us some funding. In fact, Impact 100 just gave us a $10,000 grant towards our van, and I applied for the William G. Irwin Foundation grant for some more funds for our van, and I'm also applying to the Community Foundation for their COVID grant. So it's our hope with our upcoming fundraiser that we'll get the additional $50,000 that Jackie mentioned, but it's up to people like you that are watching us to make donations. We get some money from the county, but that's always limited depending on what's going on elsewhere. So it's private donations, it's foundations, and that's what keeps this going.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Does anyone have any other questions for Jackie or Colleen? Oh, Jay and Larry, go for it.
Where are you with rehoming? And how do you see the future rolling out with all the evictions that are promised in the future here?
So as far as housing units are concerned, Reach for Home has formed partnerships with Burbank, Eden Housing, and Danko Development. And in the next 2 years, we're going to add about 41 units. And then we also made another connection with Danko for a development in Petaluma, which is going to be a 100-unit complex, and that's in 4 years. So because of our relationship with the developers that we've made, which is not normal. Most agencies don't do this, but we want to be able to give the units that they need to get off the streets in order for them to get the care they need. So that's what we're doing locally. And so we hope to have, as I said, those units are going to be, the Mill District is one of those areas where we're going to be adding. And it's not just units, it's also a position. They're going to pay for a case management position and a person who is connecting people to services. So every single one of those development projects is paid positions going with those for 15 years, which is also exceptional because no one else that I know of has been able to do those things. So
fabulous.
Great. Larry, did you have a question?
I have a question. Assuming that the homeless people have various health issues anyway, what are the challenges of identifying COVID as a problem for someone that's homeless? And how do you pick up those signals versus just their general health situations?
Jackie? I think we might have lost Jackie again. Jackie?
Here I am, sorry. Gosh. So basically there's a screening tool I use, and I just go over those questions with them, and then I check their temperature, but that's not always a guarantee because some people can have symptoms without a fever. But there's just a screening tool that I use from the CDC, go over these questions with them. And for me, I just, I use caution. If they even sound like they have any symptoms, I'm like, let's go get you seen. Like, cause I would rather them be seen and it turn out to be nothing than to act as if it's nothing and then it's something. So, and luckily, our relationships with Alliance Medical and Alexander Valley Healthcare, I could just call them up and for the most part can get, either a same day appointment or next day appointment for these guys. So, you know, having those partnerships with those clinics is key to my job, because without that, I would be out there with, you know, I wouldn't have anything to work with. So luckily I'm able to just call, get them an appointment, get them seen. And then I just tell them, you know, you stay put, like, don't go out. Don't, you know, stay in your camp, and wait for your results. And then once their results are in, then they can kind of go back to living their normal life. But if you can imagine, it's hard as it is to shelter in place for us, but to have these guys sheltering in place is almost nearly impossible. But believe it or not, they have been really good about, you know, staying in their camps, trying not to let other people from other camps just come and go as, you know, as they please. They have taken this actually pretty seriously, which I'm proud of them for doing that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? This just always makes me think of when here I went to business school, but one of the most significant lessons was about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you don't have the bottom rung covered, the rest of it is impossible. So I really thank you, Colleen and Jackie, for everything you're doing to help.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, and I'm really grateful to Rotary, because you guys, I mean, it's so hard to get people to want to fund this. It's really sad how we are always the last on the list of people that want to make donations. So I'm just grateful that Rotary stepped up. We're grateful to the Healthcare Foundation, obviously. They're the ones that launched this, and Healdsburg Forever is another funder that has been very supportive of our work. So it's just, you know, we're just doing it because we believe it's the right thing to do. And sometimes you do that in a very small community of people, but you guys should be proud as Rotarians that you were one of the ones that recognized that this was important, and you did it with funds, which is, to me, the best way to show you really mean what you say. So because of you, we saved lives. And for that, we will always be grateful to you, and that you understood it and you support it. It makes me want to weep, because you're helping these kids that have been broken since they were little, and let them know that they matter and that you care. So.
Thank you, Colleen. And in the spirit of good health and wellness, we will be making a donation to our Polio Plus fund in Jacklyn's name. So Jackie, thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. And hopefully we will stay in touch with you in another year and have you come back and keep us informed about how things are continuing in this effort.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to do what I love.
Welcome. And visiting Rotarians and guests, and Randy Johnson, do you have a minute just to tell us about your business?
Yes. I am a adventure tour operator, meaning I take people out on bicycle, hiking, kayaking tours. I've been in business since 1991, working in Healdsburg for last almost 30 years, and finally have moved our business entirely to Healdsburg. We are now taking over the Wine Country Bikes old location at 61 Front Street, and love it. Great. The community is very vibrant, a lot of activity. It feels good. Obviously, we got hit with COVID like everybody else, but we seem to be rebounding pretty well. A lot of people have this desire to get out and about, and mostly from the Bay Area, but we're still seeing some people from all over, and it's exciting. It's good stuff. So we're really happy and glad to be part of the Healdsburg community. Our best to be good citizens and be good neighbors, and if there's anybody that needs anything, let us know. But we are going to be open 7 days a week from 9 to 5, and offer, as I mentioned, biking, primarily, but also kayaking on the Russian River. You can paddle from Memorial Beach all the way down to Wohler Bridge, and also Jenner and places like that. So feel free to come by and say hello. 61 Front, as I mentioned, and we're called Getaway Adventures. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for joining us, and I hope we can continue to meet you. And
no, I love the community. I mean, this last discussion with the homeless has been amazing. I've never quite seen this before, and it's fascinating to see that there is, you know, the organization supports and cares for the homeless and tries to fund it. That's fantastic. I'm super excited about that.
well, actually, Colleen's office is just across the street from where you guys are in the big stone building.
Oh, really? It's beautiful
Yeah.
building. What's the name of your organization, Colleen?
Reach for home.
Reach for Home. Okay, good to know. I'll come say hi.
Yeah.
Reach
Well,
for
thank
Home.
you for joining us. It's very nice to see a new
Well,
face.
thank you for the invite. I got to give credit to Ed there. Thank you so much. And Diane, too, I think, is the one that sent me the invite. So appreciate that. Thank you very much. Excited to be part of it.
And Tom, we will be hopefully celebrating your joining our club here soon. We're trying to figure out how to do this virtually, because normally we put you through some ridiculous behavioral hoops.
Yeah.
So we will work on that. I also appreciate Dave and Mark, who I think have left, but talking to us about the Fund the Future of Healdsburg. I know this is on a lot of our minds. How will our kids continue to learn in this crazy environment? So the city is stepping up, and if we can individually contribute to that program, our contributions will be matched by the Block family. Next week's speaker is Dick Kirk of California Rare Fruit Growers, another interesting food connection from Edward, our food guru. So if I've left anything out, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we will end the meeting a little early. We do have a bike tour meeting, by the way, at 8:30. If anyone's interested in joining, feel free to let me know and I will send you an invite. Brandy, we might want to talk to you about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for being a vibrant part of our meeting today. And we will close this meeting and see you next week when the membership committee will run the meeting. Woohoo! Bye.